lovelies. Now that it's October, Crystal is restarting her weekly May I Scraplift You on Saturdays. So that's what I'm doing today, and I am scrap lifting this layout by Becky Adams. She has a YouTube channel, but I don't think she has a process video for this. So I'll link to her YouTube channel, but I'll link to the Instagram post where she posted this. This one is going to work quite well because I was going to do a layout that involved a bunch of strips to go with this photo, and this is the second in a series, I guess you could call it, about these kids on our wedding, and timely too because it was our wedding anniversary on Thursday. I used some digital papers from Thoughtful Studio for the first layout in our wedding album, and this one's going to come quite a bit further down in the book, but I thought it would still be nice to use a lot of the same supplies. I'll link to the previous video because I talk a little bit about the background and all of that, you know, why I chose what I chose and all that kind of thing. This layout's going to be talking about their outfits, and I will probably reprint this photo because it's got a dint in it and scratches and a big weird looking blob there because Fitzy is getting a bit vicious with his selfie playing, but I don't really want to set him off by reprinting it now, so I'll just keep working with this one. Getting back to what I'm doing, most of these papers, this is about the size of the piece that I have left, and this is why a layout like this is going to be perfect, because if I do strips I can sort of leave a gap in the middle with this bit of white cardstock and nobody will know. I don't, however, want the entire page to have the strips, so I'm going to use this wood grain background, which is, it's got these on the back, it's from Coco Vanilla's Happiness, and then just use a box in the middle. I've pulled out my border punches because I thought instead of just doing straight strips, I could mix it up a little bit and do some punched ones. But what I do need to do first, before I do anything else, is I probably need to rule some lines. It's not something I normally would do because I don't mind if the strips sort of are angled, but what I don't want is one half of the strip to be here and the other one just to be a little bit off, because yeah, I don't want it to be very obvious or obvious at all that I faked it and left a gap in the middle. So pencil and ruler, and my T-squared ruler has run off because the boys are always grabbing my stuff and not bringing it back. I guess what I need to figure out is exactly how big do I want this middle section to be. My photo is portrait, not landscape, so I mean, I guess if I use that as a guide, the A4 is see, I think that's a bit big. I don't want it to be that much, and so A4 is sort of more or less 8 inches, so 7. So I got this bit of one of the Basil dotted Swiss papers just to give it a little bit of, it's sort of a bit more interesting than plain cardstock because of the embossing. Cut it at 7 by 10. So I'm going to start going through. I might use this one instead for now, and one of the other reds. So yeah, let's have a look. Might just trim that guy down a little bit further. I'm going to cut it here so that it finishes at more or less the same spot. Because I only need, okay, so I'm going to, I might leave this one as is. I'm not going to punch that one. So it'll be something along those lines. The other thing I was hoping to do is stitch them down and maybe use some different stitches to add a bit of texture and a bit of interest, because the journaling is about their outfits. Done what I didn't want to do and kind of mucked up how straight some of these are. That's okay. Hopefully it won't be too noticeable, but I've got the strips down. I lightly tacked them with adhesive so that the sewing needle wouldn't have conniptions. And I've inked them, stitched them down, some with a zigzag, some with a straight stitch. Didn't do anything fancier than that. Now it's time for this. If I put it somewhere like that, can do the title around here, do an embellishment cluster here and here. Maybe I can do the journaling like that. So I'm going to ink the edges of this and stick it down. So this will need to be stuck on with permanent glue dots because of all the lumpy stitching, and I'm going to want to probably sort of tease up some bits of that. Oh, ink first. What I did was I trimmed down the photo. I took off 1.5 inches off the top, so now it's 4.5, and then 1/4 inch off either side, so it's 3.5 by 4.5. So that gives me a little bit more room to play with. I decided to use these old Amy Tan word thickers. One, because I have a lot of them and I haven't used nearly enough. And none of my title ideas were they were long and they just weren't anything. Yeah, so I thought I could put just plain cute because it relates to their outfit. I mean, it doesn't sort of directly feed into that, but enough. I'm only putting glue dots down in the middle, so it's still, if I need, for tucking and all that kind of stuff. Let's have a look. Maybe here. I'll have to bust out the UnDu if that's no good. And maybe this next. Ideal, but it will do. So now I need to go through this container of scraps and the flowers from last time and the ephemera. Title down, photos down. I've got some of those flowers that I had cut with the big shot the last time that I worked on the other layout that sort of goes with this one. And then there's a bunch of, these are Maggie Holmes, and these are from the ephemera sheet that goes with this Thoughtful Studio collection. And then I've got a bunch of chipboard and other stickers and bits and pieces. So I will see where that leads. I definitely want to keep inking. So I'm going to mix it up this time with some of these flowers that have been die cut on the Big Shot and layer up a couple of these. And what I thought I could do for the centres is put a stitched button, and that's going to tie in with the machine stitching as well. So let's have a look. And unlike last time, I will ink all these separate layers. So if I put something like this, some leaves, I still haven't figured out exactly where the journaling is going to go. It's not hugely long. Oh, that's definitely going to have to be tucked under. Maybe that can sit on top. These cameras are a little bit big though. I may not put those in. Oh, there's this sticker that's got the rainbow Oh Happy Day. This is from Reaching Out, the sticker book. And I thought that I could put some of it here, except of course now I'm going to wish I put the title up just a little bit higher, but I can still do that. I used some of that crepe paper Magical Forest collection last time, and it does have little ladybirds and mushrooms and things. I think I'm going to have to look for something a bit smaller. There is this blue one. I don't want that. I'll see if I've got any more blue bits. Yep, I'm happy enough with that. I'd like to use some chipboard because of the dimension. There's a ladybird that I could give each little area. Just going to put them there for now. Mushrooms. Because I do want to... I think the black will stand out better. See, a wedding is one of the very few times I'll use Best Day Ever, because I've got a thing about that. How many do I need though? Alright, I'll put 4. And hopefully I don't have to put any of them back. I think it is going to be inking time. I still would like to add a third element to this grouping at the top. Maybe that's where I can put a bear. If you haven't watched the previous video, that sort of explains the whole bear thing. Because there are these little bears, and I used the one off the sticker sheet. The only other bears, there's one here and there's one here. You know what? That's not so bad. And that can sort of help hold that flower up. Okay, I'm going to ink all the bits and then come right back, because this is going to take a while. So I not only inked everything, I've even stuck it down. The only thing I've got left to do is journaling, the buttons, and hopefully try and squeeze some of these little stickers. So let's see. Oh, don't want that. That's one. Okay, I can, and I probably will, trim most of them down. This one's a tricky one. Alright, don't love it, but it will have to do. So, the way I'm going to do these buttons, actually no, I'll do the journaling next. I'll use a slightly thicker than normal pen because I'm going to be writing on bumps. Put the buttons down, I thought that it needed a little bit of something extra to make it a bit more festive, so I put on the gold mist, and it's still not quite there because it looks alright over the embellies and the white, but doesn't really show up so much as I suspected it may not on the pattern paper and the wood grain. I want to put one of these little red hearts just to make it pop. And I think maybe that's what I was looking for before, I don't know. But this is the risky thing. I'm going to use some of this black glitter ink and just try and put some blobs on the wood grain bit, just to bring some of that black out onto the background a bit more. So let's see what happens. It is drying a lot lighter, and that's not the worst thing. So I'm going to take some still photos and put them at the end of the video. Please go and check out the other girls who are doing May I Scraplift You. So definitely Crystal, and there's I think a couple of other girls. I'll link them down there, and I'll link Becky Adams' socials and the link to this digital kit if you are interested in that. So thanks so much for watching, and I will hope to see you again soon. Bye!